In Python, we have a very useful data type called a list. And a list is a sequence of items stored under one variable, and the items can be retrieved by using an index. Let's go ahead and create a list. I'm going to call it my list. And you define the list using square brackets. And then you can initialize the list right when you define it. So let me put some stuff in there. Milk, and it's comma delimited. So I'll do comma. We'll put like eggs, comma, and then it doesn't have to be the same data type. These are strings, but maybe I want to put a floating number in there. 3.14 for pi. And what else? Maybe something like bread, right? Just so we have more than 3 items, make it a little more interesting. We can print out the entire list by just doing print my list. Let's see what that looks like. That's pretty good. Those are all the items. How do you get the individual items though? You use an index. You might be thinking, what's that? Well, an index is a counter, right? And it starts at 0. So milk is the first element in my list. It starts at 0. So if I did something like print and my list, open square bracket, 0, close square bracket, hit the play. Look at that. I got milk. And of course, the next one would be a 1, right? So if I wanted to get eggs, my list, open square bracket, close square bracket. Let's hit the play. And I have a 1 in there. I didn't mention it. There we go. Eggs. All right. How do you get the length of the list? Maybe the list is really long and we can't just sit there counting 0, 1, 2, 3. We can get the length of the list. Let's make a variable, say ln, and then we're going to use this Python function length. We're going to put in my list and let's print out what ln is. So ln equals ln. Go ahead and run that. Boom. ln equals 4. There are 4 elements. So if you count by 1, 2, 3, 4, that's how many elements you have, but it's indexed at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. So if you want the last element, what you do, print, I'm going to say last element equals, I'll get my list, open and close square brackets. I need ln minus 1. So if you come from a C or C++ Java background, this is going to be natural for you, right? Not that bad. This is going to be bread, right? The last element in the list, bread, it checks out. Python has a interesting way of getting the last element though that doesn't use the length function. We could do this. Another way to get the last element, and I'll do my list, open and close square bracket, -1. Because if you go with the negative numbers, this is going to be -1. This is going to be -2, right? So bread is going to be printed out again. It's kind of handy. It saves a little bit of coding. There we go, bread. Let's just prove that -2 is pi. We'll say print using -2 index. Oh my goodness. -2 index. My list. -2. And we should get pi. Sweet. We got it. So that's kind of good to know too. How do you add more elements to your list? There's 2 ways. We can use the append function. So I could say my list dot append, and this is going to add to the end of the list. So I'll put like grapes. Are we using capital letters? We are. Grapes. And then we can also use the plus sign as a concatenator, but the types have to match. So if I say my list equals, I got to say my list plus, I have to make it another list element. I'm going to do open and close square brackets and then maybe juice. Right, let's print this out. Make sure that grapes and juice were added to our list. So print my list. We're going to hit the play. Boom, there we go. We got grapes and we got juice. Notice that it's swapped out on the print. It swapped out my double quotes, used single quotes. That's all right. They're still strings. How do you delete an element from the list? Well, we can do two different types of delete, right? We could do it delete by index. So you just do del my list. And let's say we want to delete the third element, which is indexed at 2. So we're going to delete our pi. Print my list. There should be no floating point number in there. And there isn't. We got rid of it. Or you can delete by value. Let's go ahead and delete grapes. Right? We'll go ahead and get my list dot remove, and we're going to put in the value we want to get rid of, grapes. If there's multiple values, it's only going to get one. So we'll do, let's print it again. Control X, Control C, and now we're going to be missing grapes also. Yep, no grapes. And you can play around with that, see how it works. But you need to know how to remove stuff. You need to know how to delete stuff by index, append, print out. And when we get into loops, we're going to do more of this.